And right off the bat, she introduced me and started talking about the fact that I had this spiritual awakening. I'm like, oh God, I have to talk about that. But I was not prepared, and I could feel the fear coming up. I'm like, oh God, how do I word this? How do I frame it? And interestingly enough, you're an integral part of that spiritual awakening, because while I was having this, I had reached out to you, and you and I had reconnected, which then led me to the yoga training that was so important during that time, for which I did mention in the
you did.
and so, there's a reason for everything, and it was beautiful.
There is a reason for everything. Sometimes we resist it, but when you let go and just don't worry about the how, it shows up. It just, the universe has the opportunity to deliver. So that's the beauty in all of it. And then
it delivered. I said I was going to let it go with the flow, and then suddenly I'm talking about the spiritual awakening I had 6.5 years ago. I'm like, okay, well, this is what going with the flow looks like, so I'm just going to honor it. And it was fine. It was fine because it happened. Yeah. And here's the thing: a lot of people are going to be going through spiritual awakenings, whatever you want to label it right now. They're all, so many people, not all, are being challenged with some mental stuff right now, being in isolation. And that's what, as you mentioned in your blog yesterday, the isolation, the practice is learning how to be alone and your thoughts and honoring what's coming up. And some of that is very traumatic stuff from our past.
Yep.
And learning, new tools of healing that. And that's why you and I are in the business that we're in right now, to help others do the work that we've both done. That has been so incredibly liberating. And it's an opportunity right now for a lot of people to step into, letting a lot of this stuff go. And what they thought that really needed, maybe they don't. So I think the value in what's going on right now. And there are a lot of valuable things going on. It's not all doom and gloom. And it's how you choose to look at it.
I think about I think it was Swami Kapralu who wrote about, there's darkness, but it is it's our birthright. It is our right to turn on the light. I mean, we don't have to live in darkness, but the two have to coexist simultaneously. We have to have the dark in order to appreciate the light. But when you have seeds that are fermenting in the darkness, they can become rancid and they putrefy. And if you continue to stay with them there, it goes horribly wrong. But if you just turn on the light, you can recognize what that seed is and you can put an end to the suffering. You can put an end to the beautification. You can put an end to whatever's going on in the dark. I mean, it's not that it's that easy, because it's no, but when you're in it, when you were so submerged in the darkness, it is sometimes very hard to see the light. But it is I believe it's our divine purpose to find the light within, and utilizing the skill sets of others, people like you, like me, to help others polish the light so that it can shine and that they can find their way home. That's kind of some of the reflection that I've spent, thinking about, contemplating, kind of feeling my way through over the past week, and trying to find ways to connect with other people. For me, it's been the tool of meditation, because it's been such a gift in my life. But really hoping that something that I say, or something that I write, or something that I put out there will be that, and it'll be enough to kind of go a bit deep on someone's conscience and go, I can use that. Or, what, I'm so far down the rabbit hole, why not try it? I have nothing to lose. So that's kind of where I'm at.
To be so far down in the rabbit hole for us to finally go. And actually, there was a quote I posted a couple weeks ago on Facebook. then this next chapter is going to require a different version of us.
Mm-hmm.
And it is.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that different version of us may be the pathway to freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And why not? Because sometimes it takes us to get to our rock bottom in order to push the reset button and go, okay, I need to do something different here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what I've been doing, because I've done that several times and it's just not working.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an opportunity. So it's, and this is where, you know, you and I'm so excited to be able to be available for people right now and
Mm-hmm.
have that ability to do that. In fact, Johannes and I just came up with the idea, I came up with the idea of the Captain's Cocktail Party, which we'll work on the next few weeks. But, you know, just thinking about all those folks who are in their apartments by themselves, who maybe don't have a partner, or even if you do, because there are a lot of marriages that aren't happy right now. And so they may still be feeling very alone, even with a partner in their home.
Mm-hmm.
Of let's set up cocktail times. They don't have to be cocktail times, but times where we meet up with these folks who we know are alone,
Mm-hmm.
and just check in and have some fun and get creative with this time. If a girlfriend of mine put some funny posting on Facebook about, you know, venturing around the world around their house of, you know, and having a different wine, like Italy's be the living room, you know, and France will be the, you know, the study, and so I got a giggle out of it, and I said, oh, and this is again where, you know, this is a great time to use your imagination and get creative with what's going on. It's like, yeah, and then you can decorate each room and have a theme night. Okay, going back to ship days, are we not? And we have trivia quizzes just about Italy. So it's like, yeah, let's just, you know, have fun with it if we can. So.
Well, you saw Eric Dowis has started an evening trivia on his Facebook page. Have you seen
Oh,
that?
no kidding.
Yeah.
Isn't that we're all resorting back to our cruise ship?
I know. I was waiting for Liars Club to come up in conversation, for someone to say, oh, let's do some Liars Club via Zoom, and we'll have some fun and post that.
That would be too much fun.
Yeah. That would be fun. Well, let's go back to St. Thomas, because that's where we kind of started. Then we kind of went off in a different direction.
No worries.
But I wanted to circle back to that.
This is the inspiration that I'm using right now for me. And this is, it's going to be different for everyone. But we were on the beach a couple weeks ago, and Johannes just out of the blue said, and we're very fascinated with World War II history. Well, we always have been. And we love watching documentaries. And somebody just recently asked me, what is it about World War II that fascinates you so much? And at first I really had to think about it, because I wasn't really sure, but I thought, you know, I think it's the courage that people had during that time that inspires me. And it was a pretty insane time back then. And there was rationing going on, and there was people losing family members from the war. And then you had the whole, you know, the devastation of the Jewish population. Multiple things were going on during that time. So he mentioned, he said, would you like to watch something World War II inspired tonight? I said, sure. And it was just out of the blue. We weren't even talking about anything. 45 minutes later, we're in a section of the beach with very shelly and lots of coral. It wasn't smooth sand. I find this little World War II toy.
Oh my gosh.
And I pick it up and I said, well, isn't that interesting, honey? I said, were we not just talking about World War II? And look what I just found in the sand. So we found a great series on Netflix called Churchill's Secret Agents. And we actually watched a really good Dutch movie the other night. What's that one called? It's called, I think, the Resistance Bank. So we've been watching a few things World War II, and it has been kind of my inspiration for keeping courage during this time and getting creative. And so my reference is, what did people do back then as things were starting to change and uncertainty was coming up? And I remember hearing a story about how everyone grew vegetables. They had to during that time. So I Did not start a major victory garden, but I did put some potted plants. I haven't done a garden in a long time, but I thought, it's an opportunity to get outside, get in the sun, get grounded through this. And that's one of my practices. Have my plants that I can nurture right now. And it's also really good to get outside anyway during this time and get exposure to the sun.
Yep.
And I just want to plug real quick, because I was working with a counselor some years ago who mentioned, for anyone who is going through depression, she had mentioned to me, get out in the sun and put your eyes in the sun. Now, don't look at the sun directly, but put your eyes in the sun, because that does create serotonin growth. And does help with, your spirits. And so I just wanted to plug that for anyone who is struggling right now.
15 minutes, actually. 15 minutes.
That's right.
Yep.
15 minutes, what she said. And I was moving through something during that period of time where I did that for a week. And it completely changed my, what I will describe as a mild depression at that time. And so I did want to plug that, because I know personally people who are really struggling right now with their emotions, and they've got some childhood stuff coming up. And so it was very helpful for me. But no, I just wanted to share that little World War II story. That's been my inspiration. And the cocktail hour, there was a lot of cocktailing back then.
There was a lot of cocktailing back then.
There's a lot of people, there's a reason why they're keeping the ABC stores open.
Well, it's a necessity. They said non-essential businesses can close, but I think ABC is a necessity in people's lives. At least well, you know what? In the Civil War, they used vodka and whatever else, to clean the hands of the surgeons when they worked on the soldiers. So you can make your own antibacterial. So, why not?
We have changed the world now with our conversation.
But, I have to share something with you. And can you give me 1 second? Just hold on. I'm going to go get it.
Okay.
Okay. You showed your little army guy, right?
Yeah.
So it was like 2 months ago, I think. I was down at the beach. I'd gone for a run one morning, and I was on a stretch of the beach here in Naples that there was nobody around. There were no kids, no families, no nothing. It was pretty quiet. And I found this little Ariel that had washed up on the beach.
Well, we've talked about mermaids with before, yeah.
But this is, and I did not think about this until you showed me that. But the significance of it was, obviously, in the Little Mermaid, she came to walk on land, and she had no voice. So part of the message to me through that Disney movie is finding your voice and the power of your voice. In her case, it was to make music. And so I really took that to heart, but did not really, I thought, well, somehow this will get reinforced. And I'm not sure how it's going to show up, but I know that it will. So she stood on the kitchen counter in the windowsill, and she's been there since I found her. I brought her home, I washed her off and put her up there. And she's amongst the seashells and the rocks that I found on the beach, or we found on the beach as we've gone out walking or running. And so back in December, I had gone to a one-day writing workshop with my mom. And we had an automatic writing session. And afterwards, one of the other participants sat there and read a poem that she had put together during the session. And she asked the instructor where could she take this article to get published? And the woman said, well, since it's poetry, it's very specific. So go to these websites and see if you can get it out there. They may pay you, they may not, but at least you can get published. And there was a woman who was behind me who had come in. She was the last person to get there, and she came late. And she happened to be a romance novelist who is in the midst of a very dirty divorce. So as a romance novelist, she was really digging for inspiration to go back to writing about romance when she was in the midst of this turmoil, this emotional turmoil. But she's been published quite a bit, apparently. And she said, if you want to get published, Chicken Soup for the Soul is always looking for authors. So I came home from that and I said to my husband, I said, I'm going to give it a try. I mean, it can't hurt. So I sat down and I wrote a story and I read it out loud and then went back and tweaked it. I read it out loud again, tweaked it some more. I read it out loud to him, tweaked it some more. And I thought, what the heck? So I copied and pasted, went to Chicken Soup's website, and I dropped it into the submission area, and I hit send. And they said if you were going to be published in one of their books, you would hear within 60 days. So I kind of set my clock to 60 days later to check in to see if I had gotten an email from Chicken Soup. Well, 60 days later, I heard nothing. And I thought, well, not good enough. Apparently, I'll just go back and try again. And so I let it go. And then I get this really weird email from Chicken Soup saying, please add this email address to your contacts so we can stay connected. And I thought, this is really weird because it's been 2 months now. It was more than 2 months. Why am I getting this email now? So I thought, well, I should go check my spam folder. Well, I'm glad that I did because I had emails from Chicken Soup, the vice president of publishing, saying, congratulations, your story has been selected for consideration for our book. And I was like, oh, get out. Oh my gosh, can you believe this? So then like a week later, I get an email from her saying, congratulations, we are choosing your story. It will be published in this book from May of this year. That's called Be You, which was not the original book title that I had submitted for, but they liked the story for this particular subject. Mm-hmm. And Tonya, the only thing that they changed in my whole story was the title. And the title they gave it was Finding Your Voice.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Love that.
Yeah. And then they put a quote at the top from Melinda Gates, and that was what they put in. So I will be published in Chicken Soup.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you. But until you showed your little soldier, I didn't put everything together. So Ariel, my little fairy. Yeah. So thank you for that. Cause you showed you helped to bring to light, that connection. I would never had thought about it until just now. So thank you.
You know what though? And I think that a lot of people out there need to know that there are signs for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for joining me for today's Captain's Table Conversations with Yvette. Stay tuned for more and be sure to subscribe.